And good morning. And welcome to Couples
Good
Academy
morning.
Live. My name is Hassani.
And I'm Danielle Pettiford.
And we are Couples Academy. And if you're new to us and just seeing this for the first time, we are Couples Academy, and we have a company that we've been, working with couples all over the world for the last, 10 years, 12 years, helping them to get back on the path to fulfillment. And so whether you're in a married relationship or a non-married relationship, and you're trying to figure out how to begin to reestablish a connection and have a healthy foundation, and to have something that's long lasting, mutually beneficial, and sustainable in your marriage, this is the place to come. We do weekly sessions, we do private marriage intensives, we have group programs, we have all types of things to take your relationship to the next level. And every single morning, Monday through Friday, we are here live in the morning around 8:30, 9 o'clock, just to give you a nugget information that will help transform your life and transform your relationship. Are you doing good this morning?
I'm tired, but that's okay. That doesn't mean I'm not doing good. And I got my coffee right there, so I'll be
tired because we had an amazing weekend.
We did. Yeah, it was good. We had a great weekend
with the kids. Yeah. And then obviously we had our own date night. Yeah. And listen, if you're tired this morning because you had an amazing weekend, that's a good reason to be tired, isn't it?
Yeah.
But today we want to talk about a topic that I think is critically important. We've heard people say this in different ways, and it all comes down to this. I love my spouse, but I do not like them. Have you ever felt like you love your partner, but you just don't like your partner?
Yeah. I think after a while you get into certain personality types and you didn't know that they thought this way or acted this way, or you get under the same roof and things start happening and all of a sudden you're like, what is going on? Or you're just not communicating the way that you thought you would communicate. So you're having this disdain, this issue, and you're not knowing where it's coming from. But yes, you can absolutely love somebody and not really like them, that like you wouldn't choose them to be a friend.
I think so. Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially by the time they come to us, they're in a place where they realize, you know what, I love them, love her, we got married, we have children. There's a lot that we've shared together, but I just don't like who this person is
or has become.
Their personality, how they handle stress, just their way of thinking and processing through things, their emotional reactions, the way in which they communicate, their knee-jerk reactions to certain things. And it's just weighing on my heart and it's weighing on my mind, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I don't know if I want to leave, if I just want to separate. Like I just don't know what to do. And so that's what we're here to talk about today, because here's the fact. I think all of us go through seasons where you love your spouse but don't like your spouse. And oh yeah, that's right, you got on my nerves. You got on my first and my last nerves, and I think I did the same for you as well. In fact, I think that's what birthed Couples Academy. The fact that it was more than just a professional decision. We were passionate about it because of the pain that we went through and the pressures that we faced, and we went and got help to really restore our relationship. And based upon things that we were doing, we said, why don't we help others overcome the challenges that we went through? So if it took us 5 years to get through some things, if you pay attention, it may only take you 5 weeks or 5 months to overcome the same challenges. And so think about it. Statistics have suggested that couples who don't like each other, if they decide to work through it, to push through it, to stay, they actually experience a greater level of happiness within 5 years. So literally 5 years later, they're in a much happier place. Now, that may seem like an eternity to a lot of people, like, oh my God, I got to wait around for 5 more years. But no, because the reality is time is not the solution. People think, oh, if you give it more time, things will just turn around. Time is neutral.
Yeah.
Time can make things much better. Time can make things worse. Is what you do at that time.
And I wonder if that statistic took into account that they actually went to counseling and got the support that they needed to help, speed up the process, just like with anything else. Like when you start to do things on your own, just like with us. I mean, we went and did so many things on our own before we finally landed somewhere that could get us help. We even became marriage and family coaches so that we could fix our own stuff.
Yeah.
And then when we finally landed somewhere that helped us, it was like, quantum success, and we moved forward a lot faster. But you think about like seasons, winter, summer, spring, and fall. We've talked about this. Like every season has its amount of time. I mean, think about a seed. Every different seed has its maturation time and its development time. They're all different. I think that it depends on the situation and the problem, how fast you get through the process. And of course, if you rev that up with some help, then you're really going to get through it a lot faster. The key is to not cave in and quit, because even if you did nothing, probably it'll just take 5 years and you'll be on the other side if you're unhappy.
I think the key to what you just said, that was a powerful nugget. I need to say it again so you all could hear it. There's a maturation period. There's a germination period. There's the law of growth, right? So if you think about planting a seed into the ground, if you know beforehand that this is probably going to take, well, you grow a garden, right? Some of these
some stuff takes 60 days before they come out of the earth. Sometimes it's 90 days. So you always talk about the ancient Chinese bamboo tree.
Right.
You're watering that thing for
5 years.
5 years you're watering it, and it just shoots up out the ground. So yeah, every different seed has a different maturation process. So who knows what it will take for you to resolve your issue, because you have two people involved. But getting the support early, I feel like you get through it sooner than 5 years. I mean, 5 years does sound like a sentence.
It does, but just understanding that there's a law and there's a process by which it takes place, and it's not going to be like that. It's a process you have to go through, and if you realize it up front, it gives you the level of patience that you need to overcome it. Because some of us want what we want now. Like some people have now thinking, some people are more futuristic in their thinking. They're preparing for a better day. And so I think it's you have to monitor your expectations or manage your expectations getting through this.
And think about the children of Israel, roaming through the wilderness. They took how many years? 40 years. They were murmuring and complaining. What if they had just gotten alignment? That is another, kind of like an allegory to say, get into some support, get into some counseling quick, so that you don't have to murmur and complain and to be in the wilderness of your marriage for 5 years.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. And you don't have to do that.
Let's recognize some of the people who chimed in. Kathy, good morning. Good to see you. Vashawn, good morning from Chicago. God bless you both. You are amazing and are helping me with my marriage. Well, we're glad to be there for you. We also have Angela. Good morning. Love you guys. We love you too.
Hi, Kathy.
And Tanya. Good morning,
Hey,
Tanya. Good to see you.
I got to hit you up, Tanya. It's been a while.
So we're talking about seasons, right? So in marriage, you go through seasons in your relationship where it feels like, I don't know. I can't, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't know that this was going to happen. Because I think either we watch television and we get some idea of what marriage is supposed to look like. And then once we say I do, we're shocked with the reality of what it is. And so that's what sets us back. So our expectations is what we become disappointed by. And then that in-love feeling that we once had, we no longer have. And now we question, do I even like my partner? Think about it. The newlywed stage, that is a season. Everything is all great as long as you're not living together. But then all of the habits and the idiosyncrasies and the little frustrations that you identify get up under your skin and frustrate you. The annoying habits that we have, that is it's a season of adjustment. So we talk about being highly adaptable and learning how to adjust to situations so that you have the right mindset and you could withstand what it is that you signed up for.
It's just the human condition. We are humans. We got problems. Like after a while, everything we love, we get sick of. Every new thing gets old. Every new thing we love, we suddenly have disdain for, or it's not good enough, or we need the better version. I mean, I want the next phone. But I was sweating this phone at one point. I need the next phone. Like, it doesn't matter. It is the human condition to be unsatisfied at some point. And this is why, for us, we will never stop working on our marriage, because we realize that it's like, you walk in the tightrope, but at any point you could lean to the left and fall off either side. So you have to maintain your balance inside your relationship so that you don't fall off, so that you don't move into these spaces where you don't like your spouse, but you will. It is the human condition. You will get to the point where they are frustrating you, where they are disappointing you, where you do not like them, where you feel out of love, because we always talk about how we fall out of love, like we tripped and fell into love or something like that. All these things will happen. It's how you move through the season. I cannot stand the winter. It is the worst season for me. I don't really go outside. I'm bundled up, scarf, eyes is the only thing showing. I just hate the winter. But guess what? I got to get through it. I get warm. I bundle up. I stay out from going outside. I do what I need to do until I get through winter. And that's what we need to realize, is that in our relationships, we are going to have our ups and downs. It's just the way it is. How do we go through those seasons is what really makes the difference.
You get through the season by realizing there's another season coming, right? You always focus on the season you're not in. So if you're in a dark time, frustrated, can't stand it, you lose hope, right? You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can't see 5 minutes in front. Like all you see is now. And you're looking at your now situation. How do I think? How do I feel? What's going on? And the circumstances of your present situation will make you think that there's no hope for a future. But when you understand that, wait a minute, there was a season where we were doing well. And when I think about it, I have friends, they've gone through bad or dark seasons, but they made it out.
Yeah.
And so what's possible for them is what's possible for me. Let's go to some of the Tama, good morning from Minneapolis. Good to see you, Tama.
Good to see you.
Charmaine, good morning from the Bahamas. Look forward to watching you guys. Love it. Then we have Bunny. Good morning from Guyana. Wish you guys could come here and help the marriages that they are suffering.
Same.
Well, bring us.
What is it going to take?
Bring us.
Well, after COVID.
Well,
but bring us.
Yeah, and there are seasons. And so listen, we talked about the first season, newlyweds, but then there's a season when, a lot of times you want to have children. Right, that represents a deeper level commitment in your marriage. We want to have kids.
People are never prepared for it.
Oh man,
when your parents tell you, "Come on, bring me some grandbabies to love," they don't tell you nothing about what you're going to go through. They don't tell you about the stress and the strain. They don't tell you everything again. They don't tell you any of that. And in the midst of it, you're also dealing with your spouse, who is wondering, especially with it when it comes to the mothers. Your husbands are wondering, where did my wife go? When did she go from being wife to mommy?
Yeah,
that's what happens.
It's a huge switch. It's a paradigm shift.
We take we take the wife hat off. Some of us put it over there, put the mommy hat on, and we really never pick up wife hat again because we're too tired at the end of mommy hat.
That's right. But there's the pregnancy season.
Oh man,
right?
That part of it too.
And in the pregnancy season, there's a lot of emotions you're going through.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions, and then everything. We're like Satan. Right, we can't do anything right, and so there's an impact possibly on your sex life. There's an impact. There's a lot of discomfort in that whole process.
Yeah, I think you were Satan every time.
Every single time.
Yeah,
that's 4 years. That's a long time.
That's 4 years
of our
lives.
Kids.
But I will say that is not always the case for a lot of women. I know for a fact that a lot of women, when they're pregnant, their hormones are very balanced, or they're definitely more into their husbands. But for me, I was like, the devil! My hormones went crazy.
But on the flip side, you have a lot of men that don't like having sex with their spouse.
That's true.
While their wife is pregnant.
I don't know what that's about.
For some people, it's a mental, psychological thing. For others, it's just like, I don't want to hurt the baby. And just the matronly, motherly look is less attractive. Unfortunately, you have a lot of times people cheat during pregnancy, which is it's huge.
But there are men that also see that as super attractive.
There are. That's what I'm saying. There's all types of things going on here that we have to be aware of. But then there's the pregnancy season that you have to get through, and then the baby comes out, and then that's a whole new season.
We were just talking about.
You don't get sleep. You're constantly stressed.
Yeah.
The baby, especially if it's a new baby, you don't know, like colic and cry, like
your
all
wife's
types of
breasts
things.
are on loan. They've been leased out to the baby for about,
which is another problem, right? And so there's all types of challenges that you go through that you have to be aware of. Let's read what some of the people are saying. I think we got that. Sonia, good morning. That's good to see you.
Hey.
Yes, it sounds like a wilderness. It can certainly be a wilderness.
It can feel like a wilderness.
Because the wilderness experience does not feel good.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to get to the promised land, but you have to go through so much to get there. Yeah. And that becomes a problem. Good morning. The topic is so on time this morning. Good. I'm glad it's on time. But now after you go through the pregnancy season, then there are financial hardships. Think about it. When you were alone and by yourself, you had your own apartment, you had your own car, you had your own money, you had your own bills, you were making your own decisions, and you would think, okay, we come together. 2 is better than 1, but it seems like we took several steps back financially. Now it's more of a struggle. Now we can't afford nothing. Now we're trying to figure out, do we go on a date or do we pay a bill?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what
How
happens.
does 1
I
plus
don't
1
know
equal
how that
0?
happens. It
Lord,
happens like that, though.
it does. I talked to a lot of couples that say that it happened like that. They were better off by themselves, but I think I don't know what it is.
You
but
know
maybe
what?
it has something to do with not communicating how we're going to do this, and so you're still operating kind of single and doing your thing. And I don't know.
Well, the fact is, when you make more money, your expenses go up. Right. So now that so if I was in a 1-bedroom apartment, now I got to get a 2-bedroom apartment,
or maybe 3 for the baby.
Now we got to get a different car.
Right.
That's going to cost more money. I can't rely on my jalopy. We got to get a car that's within 5 years. And now if the insurance goes up and all the expenses and all the things you didn't think about.
That makes sense. There's definitely more expenses because you're accommodating a new lifestyle. You need a bigger home. You need a bigger car. You do more things. You're going on vacation.
You got to have vacation.
Things like that.
Because when I was single, I was traveling, and now that I'm married, we don't go nowhere. We don't go on no dates.
That's right. So it does increase the expenses, which increases the stress on your finances.
So that's a challenge, and that's a hardship that you've got to get through because. Where there is no, they say where there is no finance, there can be no romance. And when you're in a situation where every single dollar is being spent on a necessity, there's no time to play, to have fun, to date. Now that creates another hardship. And this is why they say monogamy leads to monotony. Things are boring. Things are routine. There's no more excitement. There's no more fun. Everything is duty and responsibility and tasks and everything else. It's about the function and the role that I play. I've lost my sense of self. I don't have my own identity. And it creates a hardship. That is a season that you really, really, really have to get through. And then, think about it. All of us in the last couple of months have experienced a corona quarantine season. We know initially when lockdowns happened globally, it put a whole lot of pressure on people's marriages. People began to struggle, fights, conflicts, people filing for divorce, emotional infidelity, just the stress and the trauma of dealing with somebody. But now that it's becoming, and I hate the term in terms of the pandemic, the new norm, people are starting to have a different perspective and say, you know what, if we're here, we might as well try to figure out how to work this thing out. And so that's why we're getting phone calls and people are reaching out because they want to restore their relationship. But the point is, there are seasons of pain, seasons of hardship, seasons where you just don't like your spouse. You love them, but you don't like them. And so there's a lot that we want to unpack and go through when it comes to this. I think we're going to be talking about this for the next few days. How do you get out of that I don't like you phase, the unlikability factor, and transition back into the
because
love?
check this out. If you are going through all these different seasonal struggles, which we only named about 6 of them, there's 1,000 struggles that you could be dealing with in your relationship. On top of that, you don't like the person that you're with. That could seem like the wilderness times 10. And so don't try to go at this thing alone. Like, you don't have to. Number one, tuning into this and sharing this with all your friends and family, that is a powerful move to make so that you can get some little nuggets every day. But in addition to that, reach out. We offer a 15-minute consultation that's absolutely free that you wouldn't believe how much you could get done in that 15 minutes. Like, you think it's a little bit of time, but it ends up being a lot of time when you get a really powerful nugget that could transform your life.
So do you like your spouse? You don't have to put this in the comments. But I just want you to think about that question. I like you too, babe. We didn't always like each other, but we were willing to do something. And here's the reality. When you move forward, when you push forward, your feelings will catch up with you.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we base every decision on how we feel. I don't feel like it. I'm just not in a mental space, and I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to trust, and I'm not going to extend myself, and I'm waiting on him, and I'm waiting on her, and when they do something, then I'm going to do something. But at the end of the day, you are the lowest common denominator in your relationship, and when you make a decision to do something, things begin to shift and shape and change. So we want to talk about how to increase the likability factor of your spouse or of yourself. See, if you become more likable, things change, right? So we all have to take responsibility for ourselves. So we're going to be unpacking that. Let's see what So true. Do not want to even be around them. I
Oof.
know that's a real thing.
Yes, it's
There are
real.
times when you're just like, hey, you want to watch TV? No, I
Nope.
don't want to watch
I
TV
sure
with
don't.
you.
Not
Hey,
with
you want to go? You want to go to the? No, I don't want to go to the park with you.
Mhm.
When you are in a place where you rather share new information, exciting information
With others.
with others,
Oh my goodness.
and not your
That's
spouse.
when you know you're in trouble.
When your spouse is the last one to know something,
Yes.
that's an indication that you're in trouble.
Mhm.
When you are in the same room but you don't communicate, there are couples that we know that never communicate ever, like in social settings. Even listen, there are couples who don't do well but at least show up right in public
Right.
and don't expose themselves before
Right.
the entire world. Other couples, you can see it from a mile away. They do not engage, they do not talk, they don't do it. There's no attempt that's made. And I'm just saying that when it comes to liking or loving your partner, or not liking or not loving your partner, seasons, we know that they come and go. We have nothing to do with it. We have to adjust to the time period of the season. But when it comes to seasons in your marriage, you can control how long you remain in that season. You can shorten these seasons, you can lengthen these seasons. It's all up to you. And so I think it's critically important that we realize that, to know that rather than waiting for something to happen, the something is waiting on us to happen. And when we happen, changes begin to take place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be talking about this. I want you to bring pads and pens because we're going to be giving you some nuggets. If you want to not only love your spouse, but like your spouse, then tune in. I think at the end of the day, the whole idea of not liking the partner has to deal more with that eros love. Think about it. Eros is the feeling, the emotional type of love. Then you have phileo love, which is the caring love. And then you have agape, which is God's unconditional love. So that eros love has diminished, which causes you not to really like your partner. So we'll be talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Sherman says, yes, yes. Kathy says, that's us. Okay, we don't want it to stay us. Janice, hey, she says, we've just come through a season of that. I absolutely hated it. But by God's grace, that season has come to an end. Yes, by God's grace.
So, guys, we hope that this was helpful for you today. Tune in tomorrow because we're going to go even deeper into how to begin to like the person that you love, but you have been in an unlike season for quite some time. So tune in. Go to the Couples Academy YouTube page. Our subscribers are going up. We want you to subscribe, click notifications so that you see the videos when they do pop up. And we're here to answer all questions that you may have. Down on the screen, go to Couples Academy, as Daniel said, book a 15-minute discovery call so we can figure out how we can help you. So love you guys, and we will see you on tomorrow. Take care.